Welcome back for another round of shenanigans aboard the SnickleFritz Spelunker. We are back with episode number 18.
Holy dickballs, 18?
This episode, we'll check back in with TV Talk and Astronaut Annie.
Supernatural Season 5!
Check out Storytime with the Captain.
What's that?
Go back to the world of Gaia.
D&D!
Look in on the heroes of Bow Valley.
More D&D!
Check out Neat Stuff.
Oh!
Check out I Stole Your Meme.
I like that one!
And check in with Rubik's for our sci-fi segment.
Yay!
Meanwhile, aboard the SnickleFritz Spelunker,
and welcome back to the SnickleFritz Spelunkers. It has been a little bit since our last episode, so let's get right to it with the return of Astronaut Annie and her look at Supernatural Season 5.
You are fucking, you bloody, fuck you, bloody, bastard bitch, fuck you, bloody, fucking mother, bloody, fuck bitch, you, bloody, fuck you.
carry on my wayward son. Well, hello and welcome back aboard. We are finally back with another episode of Astronaut Annie, continuing our retrospective of Supernatural. We're going to pick up where we left off here, and that is Season 5. So let's get right into it.
Lilith is trying to break the 66 seals to free Lucifer from hell. Lucifer will bring the apocalypse.
You're possessing some poor bastard?
This is a vessel. I had to give my consent to invite him in.
Josh Shirley, we have a life. You've been using it to write your books.
Steve, let him go.
This man is to be protected.
Why?
He's a prophet of the Lord. Who are you?
I'm Zachariah. I'm Castiel's superior.
How am I going to ice Lilith?
You're not. Lilith's going to break the final seal.
You won't stop it, do you?
You are chosen.
You will stop it.
Just not Lilith or the apocalypse, that's all.
Astronaut Annie, we are back with Supernatural retrospective on Season 5. Let's get started. Tell me a little bit about it.
Right. Well, it's another season where I wasn't really able to find a bad episode, one that I didn't really like. I kind of enjoyed the season as a whole, I guess.
As a whole. As a whole.
So yeah, that's great for them. They managed to pull off another season of great episodes.
Good storytelling, great character development, solid episodes.
Yes, for sure. So I do have a few favorites.
Tell me.
It was a little hard to kind of narrow it down. There were so many to choose from. So the first one would be the Wax Museum episode, where you've got Paris Hilton killing all of her adoring fans. For me, the best part were just the funny little nods to the movie that Jared and Paris were in, House of Wax.
Right, I think that was a remake of an old school horror movie.
It was, yeah. Just the little in-jokes were quite entertaining if you followed along.
Yeah, that was when she was on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
More than she is now.
She was doing a lot of her reality shows and stuff, yeah.
The early 2000s.
Shh. Another one that I enjoyed was the poker episode where Bobby and Dean play and lose 25 years of their...
When they're playing for years.
Yes, actual years, not money.
Mm-hmm.
And then, much to their surprise and everyone else's, Sam is the one that saves the day and gets them their time back.
The secret shark.
Yeah, apparently. There's another Trickster episode where he puts the boys in TV land.
Trickster's a favorite of yours?
He is, yes, and this is another episode where he's trying to teach them something he hasn't learned yet. It doesn't work.
I don't remember the last episode. Is he at the point where it's known that he's Gabriel, or is he still pretending to be Loki?
This is the one where you actually find out that he is Gabriel, one of the archangels who went into hiding. They kind of figure it out because Cass is trying to rescue them from TV Land, and he keeps getting pushed out. And
oh, the TV Land.
Yeah.
That's a wicked episode.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Play their role. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some weird meta, goofy stuff on their real lives.
Yes, there was some of that too.
Yeah.
All the hit shows of the time. The next thing that was kind of mind-blowing was the boys managed to get the Colt back and try and shoot Lucifer with it.
When did they lose the Colt?
It's when they thought Bella stole it and gave it to Lilith ways back, and then they happened to find out over the course of this season that Crowley is actually the one in possession of the Colt, and when they attempt to steal it, he just says, "Here, take it, but you have to kill Lucifer."
Crowley's still being kind of a new character in the 5th season. I think he showed up last season or season before.
I want to say he showed up in season 3. But
So he's been around for a little while, but okay.
A little while, but this is where he starts to kind of play a bigger role in the Winchesters' lives.
He's a little more ambiguous as to whether he's a good guy or a bad guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's leaning still more towards bad guy at this point in time. But surprisingly helps them, and they make their wild attempt, and Lucifer basically just laughs it off.
Because he does.
Keeps on ticking.
Yeah.
A favorite scene has got to be when Dean and Sam are in the asylum, and they get caught snooping around, and Dean...
This is everybody's favorite scene, I think, probably.
Yeah, he drops his drawers and he throws his hands up in the air and pudding. It's a very entertaining moment in the show.
The secret wraith, I think,
Yeah.
in the nut house. And
Yeah.
sorry, that's not very sensitive. In the mental health institution.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the nurses.
Yes.
As it turns out.
Right.
As we get towards the end of the season, there's some big moments. You've got Dean telling Zachariah that he'll say yes to Michael, but only with the condition that he kills Zachariah.
Zachariah, always, when I see him, I always think of Wayne's World, way back when.
Oh, yeah?
Or even, no, I'm thinking of something else. Yeah.
So there's that, and he's like, you'll do whatever we tell you to, and then Dean shoves an angel blade through his head and kills him, and they get away.
Because of course.
Of course. When Gabriel shows up to help the boys fighting off all the different gods, Lucifer ends up killing them, or so we think. So we're led to believe, but he leaves a secret video for them explaining that they can't kill Lucifer, but they can put him back in the cage.
Is that the special video?
Yes, it's a very, very special video. Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right.
Then in the home stretch, Crowley makes a deal with Bobby, and he takes a picture to prove it. And Chuck narrates the very last episode of the season, highlighting the importance of Baby in the Winchesters' lives.
Mm-hmm. Baby being the car for, I don't know who wouldn't know that, but anybody that didn't.
Yeah. I just assume everybody knows that.
You should probably assume that. So should I.
Yeah. And in our very final moments, I guess, a lot kind of happens all at once. Kaz banishes Michael, which angers Lucifer because you're supposed to have their big final battle. So he snaps his fingers, kills Kaz, snaps Bobby's neck, and then turns on Dean and beats the shit out of him.
Is this the first time Cass dies?
I believe so.
We should keep track, because it's a lot.
It is a lot. He dies a lot.
Like, we should probably keep a tally and just see who actually wins out most. I'm sure somebody's done it already, but...
And Winchester's probably got the highest numbers of death in Back to Life, but we don't really remember.
Why'd you have to take a picture? Why'd you have to use tongue?
You're still on the picture.
Yeah, that's her. Anyways.
So yeah, all that happens, and then there's a little toy army man stuck in the ashtray in the car that kind of catches Sam's attention, and he manages to wrestle control.
Sure.
And
after beating the living shit out of Dean, his face looks pretty gross.
It sure does, but he manages to get control, and just as he's about to fall into the pit, Michael shows up, grabs a hold, and they go in together.
Of course.
Of course.
Taking you with me.
And then, just as Dean's kind of coming to the realization he's alone, everybody's dead, Cash shows up. Alive. And more super than ever.
All charged up, fixes up his gross face.
Yeah. Revives Bobby.
Sure.
And now they got to carry on.
Oh, excuse me.
And then you see Chuck finishing his last little sentence in his book.
What a little bastard.
And he disappears.
Fuck you, Chuck.
And immediately you think he's God, which of course.
Yeah.
We find out. But
It was kind of given away a long time ago. Like, it was kind of kept ambiguous, but it gave it away, like, a long time ago.
yeah, it just kind of took a little while for them to.
Well, they just kept throwing a couple red herrings in there. You're like, is he? Or
Yeah.
just enough to fuck with you.
And then, yeah, we find out.
All right. Well, there's a couple good episodes there this season.
Yeah, for sure. The last two are probably the best.
Mm-hmm.
They hit you hard with a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which seems to be their style, but it's great.
Right.
Keeps you hooked and coming back for more.
Fair enough. Well, you said there really wasn't anything in particular you could pick out as a dog turd episode, which is always nice.
Yes.
Any final thoughts on the episode as a whole?
No, not really.
No.
It just continues.
It was good.
It was
Good
good.
episode.
It was good.
It was good.
It was a good season.
All right. Well, another wonderful episode with Astronaut Annie. Let's hope it's not... Shit, how long was it since the last episode?
It's been a while.
Let's hope it's not been a while until the next one.
Alrighty.
Goodbye, Astronaut Annie!
Bye.
Bye.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Welcome, Spelunkers, to brand new segment Story Time with the Captain. Here with your fake news and variety miscellaneous is your host, Captain Fucking Awesome!
Alright, first up is New and Cool, and today on New and Cool is the new cartoon series on Amazon Original, Invincible. Based on a very cool comic book that I enjoy, this series has an all-star cast, is super violent, super gory, very well written, lots of cool action, and I very highly recommend it. We're only 4 episodes in, and it is only getting better. Looking forward to the next one. Next up, we got It Didn't Suck, and that is Monster Hunter. Cool looking monsters, lots of great action. It totally didn't suck as much shit as I thought it was going to. Check it out if you want some dumb entertainment. Alright, and next up we are going to check in with Florida Man. Florida Man is currently accused of stealing an ambulance and getting it stuck in the mud. I guess the ambulance drivers had popped inside somewhere, and while they were in, he jumped in the ambulance, drove it off, and was apprehended trying to drive it into some water. He is currently facing Grand Theft Auto charges. Just another day in the life of Florida Man. Okay, rounding out the end of this, we are going to check in with the Cool Guy Club and what's going on in the Mommyverse this week. We've got 4 new podcasts up. You should check them out. If you aren't already checking out the YMH YouTube channel on YouTube, get your shit together. This shit's fucking hilarious. The main show, YMH, Your Mom's House, is hosted by stand-up comedian Tom Segura and his wife, Christina Pajitsky. A lot of potty humor. If you're a 40-year-old child like me, it's going to tickle you down deep. We've also got Dr. Drew After Dark, usually co-hosted by Christina. Also potty humor, but a slightly more medical slant. We've got Two Bears, One Cave. It's a show hosted by Tom and his fat racist buddy, Bert Crystals. Just whatever dumb shit occurs to them on this show. It's pretty funny. And bringing up the end here, we've got the Roche Motel, the Josh Potter Show. Also a lot of dumb shit, potty humor, but a lot more sports content. If you're a sports nerd, this might be right up your butthole. And that brings us to the end of Story Time with the Captain. I am Captain Fucking Awesome, and this has been the Fake News.
The bad jam, make a nigga spend his cash, his last hand, hold fire with the passion. That mad jam, you can ride in the jag, with that hand, you can smoke a fire bag,
Silence! Kneel before Scrum, the flatulent and cruel, as I grant you a morsel of my vast knowledge. The shy and reclusive Alagi is only found in the deepest mountain forests of Bow Valley. Peaceful and solitary by nature, the Alagi avoids other humanoids, but will defend itself if given no other choice. Ankegs are a type of oversized subterranean insect predator, most often found in the open wild rose plains, where their burrows can be a deadly hazard to the unwary, occasionally resulting in a young centaur breaking a leg. The circumstances that come together in the creation of an Athatch remain unknown, but they are so rare and oddly formed with their third arm that they are unlikely to be a true breeding race of giant. Also telling is their instinctive enmity with hill giants, another lower type of giant, though their creator remains a mystery. and that is all I will share today. Be gone, puny insect, or be destroyed. Ah! Darius Stonecrusher. Darius Stonecrusher is out for blood. Cousin to Darla Strongbox, left for dead by her companions, Darius means to collect their heads for their betrayal.
Hello, I am Dr. Clarence von Steinham, scientist extraordinaire, and this is my assistant, Paul.
Good day.
We are the new hosts of Neat Stuff, so sit back, buckle up, and enjoy all the neat shit we are going to show you, yeah?
Okie dokie. Play the theme song now, Poppy.
The Indricotherium, the largest ever land mammal, standing at up to 15 feet tall, living 30 to 25 million years ago. Indricotherium is the largest known land mammal of all time. Some marine mammals, such as the whales, grew bigger. Male Indricotherium stood taller than a house and could weigh up to 15 tons, which is about the same as the dinosaur Diplodocus. It was a vegetarian and had long legs and an elongated neck to help it reach up to the top of the trees. The climate in which Indricotherium lived was a hot and dry, with a short wet season and a long dry one. At certain times of the year, therefore, finding enough food and water would have been tricky. Being so large helped with this, as it meant that Indricotherium could store enough fat, water, and other energy reserves to help see it through the lean times. When food was available, it could eat large quantities in a single sitting. Too many Indricotherium in one area would soon result in the trees being stripped bare of their leaves, so it is likely that the animals were solitary and roamed long distances looking for fresh feeding grounds. The size of Indricotherium presented some problems. Being warm-blooded meant that its body gave out heat constantly, so it would have been difficult for a large animal to keep itself cool in hot weather. It might therefore have chosen to move about at night when it was cooler. It is thought that it would be difficult for a land mammal to get any larger than the Indricotherium without overheating. Adaptations in its anchored structure meant that Indricotherium could walk for long distances and also lie down on the ground to rest and sleep. It probably had a good memory that would allow it to return to watering holes or favorite feeding grounds. Male Indricotherium had especially thick skulls that they could have used in courtship battles, throwing their heads sideways into the flanks of their rivals, just as modern giraffes do. Based on their size, the females were probably pregnant for around 2 years, and gave birth to a single calf that they would look after for several years. Indricotherium fossils are rare, having only been found in Mongolia, but the bones of some smaller related species have been found across Europe and Asia. Indricotherium was a perissodactyl or odd-toed hooved mammal, and is thus distantly related to the horses, brontothirs, and calicothirs, and it is sometimes referred to as a running rhino because of its long legs. For complex reasons, Intricotherium has recently been renamed Paraceratherium, but most scientists still call it by its old name. Pretty cool, yeah?
Stop block reading, cha-cha-cha. Stop block reading, cha-cha-cha. Eric Brooks, a.k.a. Blade, the Daywalker. Occupation, vampire hunter. Identity, secret. Citizenship, USA, formerly UK. Place of birth, Soho, London, England. Group affiliation, SHIELD, formerly Shields Howling Commandos. Abraham Van Helsing's, Noah Van Helsing's, and Orgy Jones's Vampire Hunters. Night Stalkers, Midnight Suns, The Nine, Quincy Harker's Vampire Hunters, Ogun Strong's Vampire Hunters, The Blood Shadows Gang. Education, high school equivalent. First appearance, Tomb of Dracula, Volume 1, Number 10, 1973. Height, 6'2". Weight, 215 pounds. Eyes, brown. Hair, black. Abilities and accessories. The enzymes in Blade's blood made him immune to normal vampire bites, uniquely attuned to sensing the supernatural and resistant to aging. Since being bitten by Morbius, Blade has gained many of the traditional powers of the vampire without developing their weaknesses. He has superhuman strength, senses, and stamina, plus an accelerated healing factor. Blade is a master martial artist, proficient in practically every form of weaponry known to man. His particular specialty is the use of edged weapons, be they teakwood daggers or swords. Blade uses a small arsenal of weapons: teakwood daggers, titanium acid-etched swords, Kevlar body armor, automatic and semi-automatic firearms converted for use with hollow-point, garlic-filled silver bullets, and a variety of portable, custom-designed weapons that employ silver, garlic, sunlight, ultraviolet rays, and anticoagulants. Since the loss of his right hand, Blade has replaced the appendage with a lightweight, automatic gun, which can switch from conventional rounds to rubber bullets or tranquilizer darts. It can also fire a grappling line. He also uses a prosthetic hand attachment. During his time as Switchblade, Blade became the embodiment of the Demogorge by the Darkhold. He was literally drawn to mystical emanations, like a moth. He absorbed the powers of his victims after their death, and soon had gained several powers, like vampirism, healing, the vast mystical energies of Modred the Mystic, clairvoyance, lycanthropy, and even the powers of the Spirit of Vengeance, Ghost Rider. Weapons he used as Switchblade included blades, an axe, John Blaze's Hellfire rifle, and weapons he conjured from thin air, like pumpkin bombs, a power gained from the Demogoblin.
Today, in speculative evolution, I present to you the Night Runner. Nocturnal like its ancestors, the Night Runner has developed its echolocation abilities far beyond that of bats, and uses it almost exclusively in hunting. The ears and front of the face are crowned with large, mobile sensory receiving apparatus, which also detect body heat. Also like bats, the Night Runner still has excellent eyesight, though their eyes are hidden within facial folds, giving rise to the mistaken belief they have none. The forelimbs are notably altered from the proto-wings they began as, extending into long-running legs with a retractile outer claw used to trip prey and later in feeding and roosting. A web of skin extending from elbow to hip is all that remains of the wings, its purpose unclear, but suggested to be for providing shade for the young it carries on its belly. The hind limbs retain the peculiar reversed knee of bats, but are extended into strong legs with outward-facing feet. With their oversized forelimbs, night runners have an odd loping gait, but are surprisingly quick. The tail extends to a furry tip and is used in balance when maneuvering at speed, and in females there is a web of skin that extends from the base of the tail to the backs of the hind limbs. This is curled up along the belly and is used to transport their cubs, akin to a marsupial pouch. Along the ridge of their spine, the night runner has a protective row of keratinous plates, similar to the bands of an armadillo but mobile. When displaying or otherwise aroused, a night runner will raise its plates, and the bristled fur around them to look larger. Presented here is the original inspiration for the night runner, a vampire bat running on a treadmill.
Kelly.
I saw your meme! is an ashtray. We burn and coil like cigarettes. The more you cry, your ashes turn to mud. It's the nature of the legions, the virgins feeling cheated. You've only spent a second of your life. There is a dream inside a dream. I'm more awake the more I sleep. You'll understand when I'm dead.
And it goes, I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up.
Some shit about the Rancor. Some shit about the Rancor. I'm telling you. Some shit about the Rancor.
Hello, and welcome back for another segment of Some Shit About. I am your sci-fi correspondent, Rubix. Today's topic, the Star Wars alien, the Rancor. From the Star Wars universe, this alien's designation is non-sentient, homeworld, Dathomir, Otothan, and average height is 5+ meters. Rancors are huge, mostly vicious reptilian creatures found on different worlds throughout the galaxy. There are several different varieties, but all have nearly the same physiology and temperament. How they manage to spread to so many different systems is still a mystery, but most scientists believe that they were taken to some worlds by sentient species who used these massive creatures as battle mounts or beasts of burden. Standing on two trunk-like legs, more than 5 meters tall, Rancors provide an intimidating sight to those who face them. Rancor hides are often a combination of gray, green, and brown in color. They have glistening black eyes. Their arms are very long, somewhat slender, and out of proportion when compared with the rest of their muscular bodies. Rancors have huge, saliva-dripping fangs and long, sharp claws on their fingers and toes. These creatures are reptomammals, part reptile, part mammal, and as such, they lay clutches of 2 eggs at a time. Rancors care for their young, although they do not suckle. When the creatures are hatched, the parents are gentle with their 3-meter-tall offspring, showing a gentle, loving nature that is often incongruous with their fearsome appearance. The mother shares her food with her young, which ride on her back until they are 3 years of age. At maturity, a Rancor leaves its family for the rest of its life. Carnivorous, Rancors prefer fresh, raw meat, particularly large herbivorous creatures. They will eat vegetable matter if nothing else is available, but it is by necessity only. In the wild, Rancors have few natural predators, instead being the predators themselves. In addition, some creatures are thought to be subspecies of Rancors, such as the Terran Tetek of Korriban, which has larger spines and a more armored head. Another such subspecies is the Pygmy Rancor, thought to be the result of bioengineering. Although this theory is still in dispute in scientific circles, The pygmy rancor is smaller in stature than the common rancor, but distinctly a rancor, according to genetic analysis. Latest theories hypothesize that the pygmy rancor was engineered and released into the wild, either by accident or on purpose, to breed. Similar theories have been put forth regarding Dathomiran rancors, which are larger than average. Rancors are fearsome fighters. Their fists can smash prey flat, while their massive jaws enable them to swallow human-sized morsels whole. Their thick, powerful hides make them highly resistant to blasters and other handheld energy weapons. Even melee weapons cannot puncture their tough layers of skin. Rancor's eyes are able to see clearly in dim light, and their sense of smell allows them to track prey over great distances. The influence of rancors goes beyond their own environments. For example, Rancor Rising is a sequence of movements in the Teras Kasi martial arts tradition based on Rancor's hunting characteristics. Also, Rancor hide is used in leather consumer goods such as boots. There is also a valuable trade in items carved from Rancor teeth. In her days as a Jedi Knight, the Happen Queen Mother, Tenel Ka, used a lightsaber with a hilt carved of a Rancor tooth from her mother's homeworld of Dathomir. Despite their fierce fighting abilities, Rancors are actually inherently benign creatures when they are well fed and allowed to live alongside their own kind. They can be successfully domesticated and trained for riding or to haul goods. In the case of the Witches of Dathomir, Rancors have been trained to perform construction labor and serve as transportation. However, training a Rancor is not an easy task and should not be attempted without extensive training in zoological behavioral techniques and prior experience with dangerous creatures. Because the Witches of Dathomir are themselves raised with Rancors, they come by this training naturally. Rancors have shown a capacity to bond with other species if given the chance, particularly with those who feed and care for them. This is the case with the breed on Dathomir, whose intelligence makes them extremely useful as battle mounts and protectors. Dathomiri Rancors are also very loyal to their owners. If abused or maltreated, however, these beasts can be driven into an almost perpetual rage that is only temporarily abated by regular feedings. If they are driven to this state, they'll eat anyone or anything that comes within reach out of utter despair and fury. Luke Skywalker reported that he encountered a Rancor in this very state on Tatooine. Jabba the Hutt employed a dangerous creature specialist named Malakili from the Circus Horrificus as his Rancor keeper. Malakili bonded with the creature, but Jabba would not let him feed the Rancor regularly, preferring instead to feed the Rancor his enemies and others who displeased him. While this happened frequently, the meat was from beings rather than sustenance animals, and thus did not meet the Rancor's basic needs. When Skywalker was tossed into the Rancor's pit beneath Jabba's throne room, he had to lure the creature to its death in order to put it out of its misery. Sadly, when a Rancor reaches this point, there is little else to do but euthanize it. Even if removed from that environment and placed in one where it can be cared for properly, an abused Rancor never seems to forget. It will not get over the distrust or learn that food and care can be counted on. Zoologists commonly believe that there can be no rehabilitation of a Rancor that has been mistreated for a long period of time.
Like, subscribe, share my shit. Like, subscribe, share my shit. Like, subscribe, share my shit.